Mochi Health is here to help you start your weight loss journey with caring, personalized support. Meet one-on-one with board-certified obesity doctors and registered dietitians who truly listen and understand your unique needs. Eligible patients can access affordable GLP-1 medications delivered right to their door each month. No insurance? No problem. Mochi Health accepts FSA and HSA, making care accessible and affordable. And with 24/7 customer service, you'll never feel alone on your path to better health. Get started with Mochi Health today. Take the free quiz at joinmochi.com and use code AUDIO40 at checkout for $40 off your first month of membership. That's joinmochi.com with promo code AUDIO40.
We're back today. Okay, hey guys, everybody, how you doing? We are here. In the Mind of the Man is back again with Jax Taylor. Okay, I got a special guest today. Many of you guys know him from the Bachelor series. Cast member Blake Moynes is here today. How's it going, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Good, man. Well, if you guys don't know Blake, he's best known for his time on the Bachelorette. He rose to fame. And on Claire and Tisha's season, when he drew a pretty graphic photo of, well, let me explain this graphic photo real quick.
Just basically a clay penis or erection, Jax. That's what it was.
Wait, what? Why did I not know this? What? It was a penis?
You know, we have these really interesting group dates, and yeah, we had to sculpt something that was, you know, wanted to speak on something that was personal, and I wanted to talk about sex and love versus just physical sex, and I used the symbol of an erection to kind of paint that picture. It didn't go over so well though.
No. You know what? We did something like that on Vanderpump. I think we were in Cabo, and Sandoval bought a penis wooden flute pipe. I don't know if he played it all the time. It's kind of an iconic thing. I don't know what it is with reality shows and, you know, phallic devices, but you know, I guess it's something that happens. Then you appeared on Katie Thurston's season, where you ultimately proposed to her, but eventually ended the engagement shortly after the season wrapped. We got to get into that in a second. He also appeared on last season's Bachelor in Paradise. I want to ask you about that, but left single, which in my book is fine. He's also a huge advocate for environmental stuff, endangered species, and he's still very much single at 34. And let me just tell you right now, there's nothing wrong with being single. Okay, take it from me. All right, Blake, thanks for being here, buddy. Let's just touch on a little bit of things here. Okay, sure. So you proposed. I know we're going way back. I know you were on it a while back ago. I know you proposed to Katie. So what happened there? What happened?
I mean, listen, I came on strong with that season, feeling like, you know, I'd really hit it off with this girl. Feeling like she's going to be different. And, you know, I came on late 4 episodes in, and I was definitely right in terms of, you know, getting to the end and proposing and feeling like, you know, it was going to be a lifetime thing. But as you know, the real life, you know, hits, and these other factors come into play. And when you're on The Bachelor, it's a little different from you guys, right? You guys, that's your life every day, all day. When you go into this fantasy world, you got to come out with the biggest challenges living the real life, and it seemed like it lined up for both of us. So.
I know you watch these shows, right? And they're like, all right, let's go on a normal date, right? You pick somebody up, you go to Chili's, you maybe go to a dinner. But on The Bachelor, you're like, I want to go to dinner. Well, okay, we're going to put you on an island in Fiji, you know, and you're going to have these exotic fruits and have your own island. It's not real, right? And then it builds up this huge thing, and then you go out to the real world, you're like, well, wait a minute, where's our date in Fiji, and why am I not eating exotic fruits, and I'm eating stuff from the grocery store down the street? It's just not realistic, you know. It sets your expectations so high, and then it's such a letdown from what I see. So I'm assuming that's what it was like.
Yeah, you know, I think that's the challenge for a lot of couples. And I mean, you know, you go through these really crazy experiences to build this unique foundation. But yeah, the challenge is going to real life and seeing how they, you know, talk to a waiter, all these little red flags that will start to pick up that you wouldn't necessarily see in this experience, right? So that's the biggest challenge and hurdle for most people, and we become that. So
going back to an apartment, going back to having to go to work 9 to 5. Oh yeah, you forgot you have to make money to live. Like, this isn't all free. You know, I think during these shows, when I do watch these shows, people forget about all that, and they think it's just this fairy tale. And then, yeah, they wake up and they're like, okay, this is not what I signed up for. I didn't sign up for a 2-bedroom apartment and 3 dogs. You know? So then you went to, so obviously you said that ended. Did that end both you guys amicably, or?
Yeah, I mean, we fairly mutual, I would say. I think we kind of saw what was coming. I would say that I guess she more so, got that end started, but I think we both knew it was coming. So I would call it mutual for the most part. And then, yeah.
Are you guys still friends?
We are. We are still friends. It took a little while. She ended up showing up on Paradise when I was there. Had not talked to her since we ended the engagement. So 2 years later, and we hashed it out. As you know, they like to do that and throw you curveballs, but we hashed it out, and we've been in touch here and there since.
Oh, that's cool. And when were you on Paradise again?
It would have been not this past summer, the summer before, so 2023 summer. So it's been a little.
Did you know she was going to be there?
No, of course not.
No, of course not.
No chance. No. She showed up. I heard her voice come up the stairs. Like, get the fuck out of here. It's like one of the last days I was there, and they had to throw that at me. Of course.
You like the Paradise though? Did you like doing it?
It's a lot more fun, man. I mean, listen, it's loose. By that point, I've done this before.
Yeah.
I understand how this works. So many different personalities and people. It's just a lot of more laid back. Whereas, obviously the Bachelorette's like, it's very like competition kind of base and feel. You only have so much time, this and that. You can freewheel on Paradise, both people and get time, actual time.
I said this before about The Bachelor, the 3 or 4 times I've seen the whole show. I feel like it should be called the next biggest influencer, really. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's so I feel like it's so staged, and it's just like, come on, you're not going to find somebody you love in this, fantasy world. How many people have actually ended up being married on this show? Do you know?
I will say, as of late, couples have done fairly well. They have their fairly well. Listen, the thing is, and I totally get your point. The thing is, the success of the show does rely on actual successful couples. If everyone's failing left, right, and center all the time, you're not going to have a show, because then that fantasy love that everyone wants to watch unfold on TV, there's no such thing. So the producers do really want successful couples. It's just like the scenario in which we try to find it is not ideal necessarily.
So you think people who sign up for this show today in real time are doing it to find love and not doing it so they can quit their job and sell skincare online?
I think you're right. I think that you go in for an experience. This is the way I would approach it. You go in for an experience. It's like, okay, they want me to come on this thing.
Yeah.
What are the fucking ulteriors that can happen here? Yes, I could potentially find somebody here amongst the 12 people in Paradise that I could potentially actually mesh with. Do I also know that there's the potential that I could make something out of this and could get brand deals and money that comes in? But really, when it comes down to it, there's such a small percentage of people, especially men, that actually make anything positive of it. Like it kind of comes and goes. It's a 15-minute thing. So you go in knowing both.
I feel like more people hook up and more people get together. I don't know this, but I'm just guessing when I'm thinking about this. I feel like more people hook up and get together on Paradise because it's a little bit more loose, and I feel like there's no expectations and it's kind of just a free for all. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, listen, when it's the Bachelorette, you have one personality that you're actually if you mesh with. You have 12 different personalities that come and go. More, people are coming in, people are leaving. You have the opportunity to see what chemistry actually flows and what doesn't. Bachelorette or Bachelor, you're kind of seen as to work with this one person.
And do you know who's going to be on the Paradise when you go? Do you have any idea?
I think you kind of get an understanding, right? Some people will start floating things around. You start to get rumors that all, social media kind of runs its course, right? And then, people will send a DM here or there, and you start to gauge who might be going.
Right.
So yeah, you have a general understanding for the most part.
Do you do your research? Do you research about any of these people before you go? Like, do you get to do I don't want to say background check, but do you see what these people are about so you're not wasting time?
Well, fuck. I mean, Jax, before I get into this, I feel like anyone you research in social media nowadays can be putting on a facade. Like, everything's a shit show social media wise. But yeah, I try to get some kind of understanding, right? To see like, would I actually mesh with this person? What vibe do they give out? What do they really like? Yeah, definitely. Because you don't want to go completely blind.
Right.
Otherwise you're a sitting duck out there.
Yeah. Don't get me started on researching people. If you were to Google me right now, how I'm not in jail is, I mean, not that I've done anything, but there's so many things that people say about me that I'm just like, Jesus, it's hurtful. Some of it, some of it's true, some of it's not, but you're like, Jesus, how the hell, this is terrible, but it is what it is. That's kind of the price we pay of being on TV. And a lot of people like to, paint their own picture of you. And unfortunately they can write whatever they want, which kind of sucks. But,
Have you thought about how you want to change that, curtail that? Are there things that are true on there that you see that you're like, yeah, I could be better here. I need to change.
Right.
Have you seen some of that?
I've done some stuff that's bad, right? But then they kind of go off on tangents of it. Like it's not that bad, but then they start reading it. And then I'm like, wow, did I do that? A lot of the stuff I forgot that I've done over the years. I'm like, oh my God, I did do that. Oh, Jesus, But you know what? I'm in the game of TV and entertainment, and I like to stir the pot. That's what I do. People aren't watching the show for us to braid each other's hair. They're not sitting around being like, let's just be nice. That's not what we're in the business of. We're in the business to stir conflict, create a good show for people to watch. You know what I'm saying? And if there's issues with each other, I'm going to call them out. Am I going to get called out on it? Probably. But that's what our job is to do. So, as they say, you don't poke the bear, and I'm the bear usually. They don't poke me. Kristen says that all the time. Don't poke the bear.
You're definitely the bear. I mean, I've had the opportunity, obviously, to be at your house a few times, and I think that's what's the craziest thing is, I hadn't watched your guys' show yet, right? I show up, meet all of you. I'm like, this is a pretty crazy, wild group. Then I was like, I've got to now watch the show. It's you guys. It's so real. It's wild. Like, you guys are who you are, and the show does not exaggerate any bit of it. And I think that's what makes. Well, I guess that's where the success comes, is that it's all very real.
And that's what we pride ourselves on, and I've said this many times over the years with Vanderpump. They're like, I do a lot of, speaking on it. They're like, why do you think your show is so successful? And I'm like, what you see is what you get. It's very organic. They show up, they turn the cameras on, and it's happening. Whether the camera's there or not, this shit's going on. But it does magnify a lot of things that I don't want magnified, unfortunately. But that's just the price you pay. You can't pick and choose what you want on air. And unfortunately with me, especially everything that I'm going through right now, it's ultra, ultra magnified, which makes things very, very stressful, because not only do I have to deal with my own demons myself, I have the whole world judging me and adding their 2 cents in from what they think, from the bits and pieces they see on a TV show. They're trying to create their own narrative of me, which sometimes it can be spot on, but sometimes they're way off,
I don't know. I mean, I feel like, based on everything you've been through recently too, with like, the substance abuse, all that stuff. Obviously I've been staying on top of that stuff and listen to some podcasts that you've already put out to see what you're at and what you're kind of dealing with. And I mean, that alone and the struggles with managing that internally and all those demons, and then adding the layer of the reality TV and the public stuff on top of that, kudos to you for sticking with that and continuing to move through that, because that is not for the weak.
I really appreciate you saying that. And I feel like I just don't notice it much anymore, because I've been doing this for so long and my skin is so thick, because I usually get nailed every season that I'm on. But if you think about it, going through rehab, going through rehab twice nationally, going through a public divorce, being diagnosed with, my bipolar disorder, having a child, like there's just so much, and it's piled. And, you can only take so much. And the fact that I haven't broke yet, I mean, the little pieces have chipped off me, but completely broken yet is really surprising, because there's been times where I'm just like, I want to throw in the towel. And it has nothing to do with TV. It's just the stuff that I put myself in, I buried myself in some certain situations, and it's just, it's frustrating, but I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to do my best. And, quitting, drinking and drugs and all that stuff has been such an amazing, amazing experience. And, I feel so much better about myself, and I feel healthy, and I'm the healthiest I've ever been. And obviously I want to be here as long as I can for my son, and he's my driving force for all this.
Right.
Unfortunately my marriage took a hit with all this stuff, and, which sucks, but, hopefully, down the line, it's not good right now, but hopefully down the line, Brittany and I can look back and be like, remember we were arguing about this, or why did we argue about this? Because right now it's at the heated moment. I don't know if you know anything about divorce. It's messy. No divorces are good. They're just not. Maybe 1 in 100 are okay, but most divorces are nasty. And unfortunately mine's public, so it's even nastier. So that's what's going on with me anyway.
I was going to say, like, I've obviously had the opportunity to meet Brittany, and even see her just outside of, your place, right? If she's with, Lori or whatever. And, yeah, I mean, whatever's best for both of you. Both are, good people. It's just, whatever's at least you guys have figured it out that being together is not the case.
Right.
So,
yeah. That was the main thing. Obviously we're not together. Now we're at the part where like, how can we be good for our son? Because he's the only thing that matters now. It's not about us anymore. We obviously don't get along, but we need to get along for our son. And I feel like, we just need to put everything behind us. What was done, we both hurt each other. I mean, we can sit and go, hey, we did this, you did this, I did this. But at the end of the day, let's just put this all beside us and just move on and just be happy, because it's stressful, man. It's just not easy. And the only people that win in these things are lawyers, unfortunately. So,
craving your next action-packed adventure? Audible delivers thrills of every kind on your command, like Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, where a lone astronaut must save humanity from extinction, narrated with stunning intensity by Ray Porter. From electrifying suspense and daring quest to spine-tingling horror and romance in far-off realms, unleash your adventurous side with gripping titles that'll keep you guessing. Discover exclusive Audible originals, hotly anticipated new releases, and must-listen bestsellers that hook you from the first minute. Because Audible knows there's no greater thrill than the one that speaks to you. Discover what lies beyond the edge of your seat. Start your free 30-day trial at audible.com/WonderyUS. That's audible.com/WonderyUS.
Yeah. Anyway, I really, really appreciate you being here, by the way, man. And, talking with me about your show and a little bit about mental health and everything that you're going through and that I'm going through. So you created the SOSA. Can you explain a little bit about that? So am I saying it right? SOSA.
Yeah, you've nailed it.
Okay.
So the SOSA is the word SOSA is just essentially an abbreviation of Save Our Species Alliance. So and so with that, essentially, it's a company that I have that we work on different wildlife projects across the world. We run expeditions, we work with nonprofits, and we help some of these nonprofits, these professionals, target some of these key main issues when it comes to all these endangered species or species at risk. So we'll put together programs, and that could be social campaigns, that can be expeditions, that can be a whole bunch of different things, to try and bring funding in, work on the project, bring exposure to the project, and try to bring some light to a lot of these environmental issues as it specifically pertains to biodiversity issues and species populations that are declining like crazy.
How did you get, like, have you always been involved with, I guess, just animals? Have you always loved animals and just this is what I wanted to do in life?
I was obsessed with animals as a kid. I was that animal nerd that would flip every log, at the cottage. What's under this log? Catching, frogs, this and that. I went to school for outdoor adventure, so professional guiding, survival stuff.
Wait, you have a degree in professional outdoor fun?
Pretty much, yeah.
Wait, where the hell what school is this?
Up in the middle of nowhere, Ontario, on a river, and so we did all of our skills training out there, avalanche training, search and rescue. So I took all that education. Then I also went and got my degree at university in tourism management, and then that all kind of came together. I started working with birds of prey and falcons early in my 20s, obsessed with animals. Then I went and did worked in offices in wildlife management and getting a wildlife division, go for a pest management company and trying to figure out a way to fix human and wildlife conflict in like city centers and bringing that kind of angle. And then I went and volunteered at a rhino sanctuary after I found out that rhinos were being devastated due to the poaching crisis. Fell in love with it, landed on the show a year later, and then did a couple posts, saw how much good I could do in helping wildlife through social media. And then it spiraled out of control in such a great way. And now I just kind of travel around and work with wildlife all over the place.
That's awesome. And I know you and I have had dinner a few times, and I always like to ask you what's your craziest story? What are the craziest things you do? And I remember you telling me, I'm going to butcher this story because I remember it vaguely, but I think you went to Africa or something and lived in tents, and you were getting bit by all these crazy insects to save like an iguana. I was like, you did all this, you got bitten by all these rare mosquitoes and sleeping in tents that's 1,000 degrees outside, and you were like so passionate, be like, but yeah, we saved an iguana's arm or something like that. I'm like, man, you need to be really, really passionate to be put in those types of environments to save one animal. But to you, it's worth it, and that's just amazing. That's just, I mean, you have to have a special, you got to be a special person for that, and that's just really awesome because there's not many of you guys out there. And so, if you don't mind me asking, how did the Bachelor? I'm going back into the Bachelor a bit. How did they find you, or did you find them?
So I kind of found them. As you know, I play hockey, and I was sitting around with the guys after a game, and in the parking lot, and we were talking through, who I was dating, what was my dating life like, and I was kind of the only ones remaining that wasn't in a relationship. I just ended a 3.5 year relationship, and had been in a relationship through most of my 20s. And they're like, dude, you're really fucking different. You're fucked up. You don't care what anyone thinks. Why don't you go do like one of these shows? I'm like, dude, first off, I'm a Canadian. And like, would I really get on? I applied to Naked and Afraid, like Survivor, and
I could see you in that, dude. You would crush in that. You would crush in Naked and Afraid Survivor.
Yeah, I want to do Naked and Afraid. I think I could easily do it, but
yeah.
And
you would have such the upper hand in these shows. I didn't. Now just thinking about that, man, you would crush. You got to do those for sure. That's your wheelhouse right there. Naked, Afraid, and Survivor. You would make all those people look like silly because you know everything. You would know what animals, you know what insects to eat. You would know what plants that are poisonous. Like, you would be awesome in that.
Well, that's the interesting thing, though. So, like, I never went to school for zoology, right? So it's not like I know the biology of every animal. I know,
but you know enough to get through.
Certainly,
okay.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
And let's be honest, like, this show's not going to put you in serious harm's way. And I feel like the stuff that they would put you in front of, you'd be like, okay, I got this. Yeah, that would be an easy money grab for you. We got to call your team. You got to get on these shows. So anyway, that's how you got on. And by the way, don't just say I'm Canadian. I love Canada. I feel like I need to be Canadian. I've been there so much lately, and I absolutely love Canadian people. They're just so nice. But anyway, so that's how you got on. So you were sitting on the hockey bench. In the box, and the guys, and so you just signed up after they told you this, or
they're like, just do it, man. Just see what happens. Just do it. Why not? I went to the application. It's pages long. I'm like, I'm not filling this out. I filled it in, put in my photo and like the first box of like, why do you think you're good for the show? And I didn't finish the rest of the application. I just sent it in. It's like, I'm not doing this. I won't even get on. And then 3 months later, I got a call from LA, and then I remember just being like, fuck, I guess I'll go out and meet these people and just see what happens. And then I just landed on it, and it was a great decision, ultimately.
Yeah, that was awesome. So they say, hey, we love you. Pack your bags. Let's go.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was a wild experience. And now, the thing is, this is the whole thing, Dax, is that, like, the average person probably terrified. None of my buddies, none of my hockey buddies would ever fucking do that. They just wouldn't. It's just not It's a lot to put yourself out there and do that, right? But opening these fucking doors that you don't know what's behind it, it's terrifying because you're like, I'd rather play it safe. But dude, you got to just open every fucking door that's scary, because
it's definitely the time to do it. You're young, you got your job, you're single. Fuck, why not? Why not?
Well, Jax, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You look at The Bachelor. Do you think, based on all, because you've obviously been through reality TV and you can like handle things, but do you think you could actually be The Bachelor, handle 30 women coming in? Do you think you would do it properly? Do you think you'd be a shit show?
I would be an absolute shit show. I would probably be kicked off for something that I was not supposed to do. Before you even finished that question, I knew I couldn't do it. No. For so many reasons that I can't talk about. But no, I don't think. No. Could you do it? Could you be the one guy?
It came close.
I think you could do it. You're a good guy, and you have, good morals, and you're built a certain way. I've been so jaded by living in Hollywood for so long and just being like a complete shit show for so long that I don't think that I could put all that aside and do things the right way that you're supposed to do it. As a gentleman, as a good person, I think I'm just so fucked in my ways, in my brain, that it wouldn't, like, people would be like, get this fucking guy off here. Like, this is insane. This is not Tinder. This is not a dating website. I just don't think that it would work for me. I don't think, no.
I don't think people really understand how difficult it is for the lead in that position. Everyone's coming to you to talk on all of their deep insecurities, what makes them them, you know, all these sad stories that really show who they are.
Right.
And you've got to be able to switch gears consistently all night, talking to all these different women, and then try to figure out who's best for you amongst all of that. You're tired. Like, it's not an easy position to be in. And you have a responsibility with these women, right? Like, be careful what you say and how you manage those conversations, because you have to.
No, I'm just, you're saying these things, and that's my biggest problem right now is saying the right things to women and not, love bombing and not, being a narcissist. Like, I'm all these things: narcissist, love bombing, breadcrumbing. This is the worst recipe for somebody to go on The Bachelor.
Okay. But so if you know that you're doing those things, so say you're going into your DMs tonight, whatever it is, can you, do you know when you're operating? Are you aware of that? Or do you just kind of get caught up in the emotion of like women and talking? Like, how do you manage that? Are you aware of it, or do you forget? Like, is it just who you are?
Who put you up to this question? No. To answer your question, yes, I somewhat I am aware of doing what doing what I do. Yeah. But I just think that I've done it for so long that I have to really try hard not to do it. And like I said, these words, narcissism, breadcrumbing, love bombing, these are just very new phrases that they kind of just came out within the last couple of years. Have we been doing them all along? Absolutely. But now it's just more, I want to say, heightened, and unfortunately, I've done these things, and I don't even think that I'm doing anything wrong sometimes, which is really scary. I'm actually go to therapy and I talk about these things, why I do what I do. And I think there's a codependency issue there with me. I like to see, I don't try to hurt people's feelings. I don't, but it's just it's fun in the moment. Do you know what I'm saying? But in my head, I don't realize that I am potentially hurting someone's feelings. Do you know what I'm saying? I think it's just oh, we're just flirting, we're having fun. Okay, when I'm done, I'll be done. But that person that I'm talking to may not be done. Do you know what I'm saying? They're looking at it as oh my God, he likes me. And I'm thinking in my head, oh, we're just flirting, having fun. I don't know. That's what happens with me. So, it's a problem, and we are working on it with my therapist.
Well, dude, the first thing is being aware, knowing, right? Well, some people can't comprehend that they're doing it. So the fact that should make it a little bit more easy anyways moving forward.
I agree. And that's kind of the whole thing about my podcast is I'm kind of decoding bro code a little bit. I'm kind of talking about red flags from the ultimate red flag right here. I'm waving it like this.
Right.
I am a red flag. Stay away from people like me. I'm aware of who I am. I know what I am. I get it. I tell everybody, but if you can learn from what I do and, take it to your next relationship, oh, Jack's talked about this. This is what he is. This is what he does. If I can help you, then great. I'm 45 years old. I'm never going to get married again. So that's the way I can call myself out. I don't see myself ever getting in a relationship again. Maybe, I don't know, but I just don't see it. My priority is my son and making sure he grows up well and also treating women well. I don't want him to treat women like I did. So that's kind of just my goal right now. But that's a really good question. No one's ever asked me that before, but I will talk about it when I do my tour and my stuff, like the things that I've done, things that I regret, the people that I've hurt, sliding into DMs and all that stuff. It's just so tacky. But at the same time, not to defend myself, you're going through a divorce, right? A really, really messy divorce when, I found out some things that Brittany did and she, and I was just spiraling with alcohol, with drugs, going through a divorce. I was just I'm going to go on a tear. I'm going to go on a tear and, I'm going to DM girls. I'm going to drink. I'm going to go to my bar. And that's kind of how everything spiraled out of control. And then all of a sudden I'm in so deep. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get out of this, and that's when I had to start quitting alcohol, quitting substance and getting my shit in my life back together.
Well, it's interesting you say this, right? So obviously you've come off of, you're going through recovery and you've substance abuse and you've, putting that behind you, and that's fantastic. And what I've noticed in the past, and I've had to come to grips with this, is love and sex can be a fucking drug. And if you get rid of the actual substance, that dopamine and the validation you can get from women, whether it's through sex or just anything, feeds that dopamine that you may be lacking in other places. And how to control that and how do you move through that? It can be a drug, man. And I stay away from sex, dude. I stay the fuck away from it because it's dangerous.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So just to backtrack a little bit, this is actually something I'm talking about in therapy right now. Sex and love is 100% a drug. It's 100. I'm actually, I probably have a harder time with physical and love and all that other stuff more than I do with drugs and alcohol, to be honest. I, yeah, it's an issue, and it's constantly in my brain, which is weird. And it's like, how do you do it? Like, so are you, I don't want to get too in deep with you. So you're not dating, you don't have a girl that you hang out with once in a while. How does that work for you?
I've been on, so, I mean, I'll just be honest. It was like first week of December is the last time I had sex. Before that was, I was
December, January, February, March, April. We're in April. So that's 5 months ago.
Yeah.
And you like,
and yes,
you're fine with it.
I mean, dude, I battle it every day. I mean, instinctually, right? We are social animals. We instinctually, testosterone, we want that, no question. There's so much responsibility I noticed that comes with sex. It's a danger to people. No, it can be used as a weapon, really, emotionally and physically. I mean,
you have no idea.
It just comes with so many caveats, man. And unless you're actually really emotionally connected to that person, which takes time to build trust and all those things, the quick physical dopamine hit you can get from sleeping with somebody you barely know brings so much, whether it's like an STD or DMs, if it doesn't go well for them. Like, it's just, we're in a dangerous age, I think, with sex and how much can be posted, talked about, used against you. And I've had my own struggles, and there's reasons as to why I operate the way I do now. It's a drug. And if it's not managed properly and you can't control those instincts and willpower, which is always a struggle, doesn't matter who you are. Yeah. It can cause trouble. And
it's caused trouble with me, and everything you said, I'm going through. I've gone through it. Yeah, and I'm really glad you said all this. Like, I'm getting a lot. I'm probably getting more out of this than you are right now, and it's so nice to hear. Other than your therapist, because your therapist is supposed to tell you things, but when you hear things from your peers, when you hear things from your friends, you take it a little bit more to heart, And it's really, really refreshing hearing you say this, because I'm in the process of working on that myself, and it's really, really tough. And I'm gonna have to. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I need to. I'm working on that now. That too. Now, you said you, if you don't mind me kind of touching in on that, you said you had an issue with that, and you were. Well, let me read. I was reading here about this. If you don't mind talking briefly about your catfish story. Is this what you're talking about? The catfish story?
There's a couple instances. There are a couple instances. We can dive into the other one right after this. But I think you can get caught up, right? Especially when you're coming off these public shows. You can be reached out to left and right, and you never know what the intention is behind some of these people, and some of these people have really bad intentions. And there's been a couple instances of that one being just portraying themselves as someone that they're not at all, or of themselves. And that's why I'm so careful with social media and DMs in general, because everyone portrays themselves. I mean, listen, whether it's like filters or the vibe, everything they give, it's the best version of themselves. And I noticed that through dating, and I show up, and a lot of these people either don't necessarily look what they look like, or don't have the life they built up. And so I'm just very hesitant with how I engage and meet people socially. And it takes a long time for me to trust them before I actually pull triggers on anything, whether it be sex or actually taking them seriously and meeting in person. It's a slow process for me. But yeah, I mean, listen, I spoke to someone for some time, and I showed up to meet them after speaking for a while. And I wouldn't say it was catfish in the sense it was a completely different person, but I would say a catfish in the sense of showing up, from an airplane away, and it not being the person that I was expecting. And the weird situation that I go through, I'm too kind, so I couldn't just walk away from it. We had built a relationship socially and talked a lot on the phone, all these things, but I wasn't picking up some red flags that I should have jumped on a FaceTime before going, or taking some of these things. So I built a relationship emotionally with somebody and knowing a lot about each other. So when I showed up, regardless of how she looks or even though it's not right to do, I felt terrible in being like, hey, you're not what you look like. I got to walk away. So I spent the day with her, and it was really awkward and weird, man. And all the sexual stuff that we kind of hinted at and all that stuff, we didn't do any of that. I tried to be as respectful as possible, but hard to do knowing that she essentially lied to me.
She lied to you. And I remember you telling me this story, and it sounds like an absolute nightmare, but it also sounds like gut-wrenching. It also sounds like it pulled at your feelings and your emotions. And you're like, how can somebody do this to me? But like you said, you know what, not to cut you off, what they do this in the NFL now, because players go in and they get these huge amounts of money, and all of a sudden they're famous and they spend all their money, and then they retire and they have nothing. What I think they should do for people that are about to get on reality TV or TV shows, they should have to take a course and here, you're going to be on TV. This is what's going to happen. These are the issues that you're going to have. You're going to have girls coming in or guys coming in. You're going to have this. You're going to have this or this. That way it prepares you for what you're about to get into on reality TV. Because when I went in, we didn't know what was going on. We just all of a sudden became, famous overnight, and we didn't know how to deal with the fame. And if you're like a guy in a kid in a candy store, you're like, wow, this girl wants me. This girl wants to talk to me. This girl wants a picture. Or she's going to meet me here. And we don't know the dangers of this, And I think they should actually make you take some kind of course, or make you take a couple classes before you start the show. Like, say you started the show on Tuesday next week, Thursday and Friday, you have a crash course on, the potential dangers of being on television. Yep. I think it would save a lot of problems if you have a guy like me coming in there teaching the class, because this is hey, this is what happened to me. A, B, C, and D. Don't let this happen to you. How do you stay away from these issues? What to do on social media, what to do in the press, so you don't get fucked. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's really easy. It's really easy. I mean, you're famous overnight. All these girls want to talk to you overnight, and you're like, oh my God, right? It's a good feeling. I don't care who you are. It's a good fucking feeling. And you're like, this is amazing. I love this. This is what I always wanted. And then it comes with all these dangers, and it's scary. So, I mean, I think they should do that. I think they should have a red flag class, Jax Taylor's red flag class. And then I'll have special guests that have been fucked over through the years. I could have Blake. He got catfished. I could have Jax. He was sliding into girls' DMs, whatever. This is what to stay away from. I think we can help a lot of people. Anyway.
I agree. I think a lot of people go through it. A lot of people go through some of these things that happen to them in silence. And, that has happened to me in another instance. And, dude, it's just dangerous. It's dangerous out there. When you're, a lot of us like to be in control, obviously, right? Whether it's your job, your career, whatever it is. But when you start getting into relationships or conversations or in depth with people, you cannot control that person. You don't know what they're thinking. You know what move they're going to make, and those moves and how they operate can affect you in the worst ways if they're not genuine, good, real people that you trust. And so
it's tough because once you put yourself in the limelight, you don't know who to trust anymore, because now you're out there. You don't know if this girl or guy wants their 15 minutes of fame. They want a quick money grab. They want to trap you, whatever. And unfortunately, some of us have learned this the hard way. And, it takes for you to go through a couple bad incidents to wake up and be like, shit, okay, I can't do this anymore. So yeah, it sucks, but they're not going to, you can't have your cake and eat it too. If you're going to be on this, it comes with consequences. People don't be like, oh, I wish I could be on TV. Well, you have to know what you're wishing for, because it's a very, very tough job. Do we get paid well? Absolutely. And do we love our job? Yeah. But you got to be very careful. You got to give the audience something, but you can't be nothing. You got to be kind of in the middle. You got to be entertaining, but you can't be crazy, but you can't be boring, but you can't be, and then whatever you do, it doesn't matter who you are, people are going to talk about you. No matter what you do in life, people are going to talk shit. That's just what people do. That's the world we live in as social media. Unfortunately, that's just what we live in right now. So you have to be very, very careful. And the reality world has changed so much within the last 3 years. You have to be very mindful on what you say and what you do, but at the same time, still be Jax Taylor, the people that people love, and I have a fear sometimes now that I quit substance, that I quit drinking, that I'm not going to be the same person that people really like. They're not going to be like, ooh, what are we going to get from Jax this week? What is he going to do? Who's he going to this? And I feel like I come out so vanilla, people are going to be like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Turn the channel. That's what I'm afraid of.
You know what though, man, I think you've been through such a crazy whirlwind of a life and process through this that seeing that transition and seeing you come out of that is authentic and real and what actually happens. I think that people would like to see that and maybe see you make up for some of the things that you've done in the past through becoming a better version of yourself, regardless of, I think that's entertaining in itself, and because it's a real story that resonates with people, and they don't, it doesn't always have to be the drama and the craziness. I think you can do it in a different way and just be seen in a light that is more truly you without the substance issues and this and that. And I get what you're saying, but I think you'd be surprised in people actually rooting for you more and seeing a lot more positivity versus like watching you to want to see you succeed.
Yeah. I'm going through that now, and I have such not terrible anxiety, but since I've quit drinking, and I didn't realize I was an alcoholic until I quit drinking. And I didn't realize how much drinking played a role in my social activity. I feel like I'm such a hermit now. I feel like I don't want to be in crowds anymore. I don't like to hang out very much. I'm usually I go to my bar, or I'm at a function for a hot minute and then I bounce. I didn't realize how much alcohol played such a role in my socialness and my communication and my outgoingness. And it's at 45 years old, I'm relearning myself on how to be social without being that crazy person. Because I'm not going to lie to you, I'm 45 years old. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted from playing this person that I always have been, this character that I've been my whole life. I can't do it anymore, man. I can't do it. As much as I think it's fun, emotionally, I just can't handle it anymore. So it's an interesting time right now, because like I said, if I can make it through this, I think I can. If I can make it through this divorce and make it through, what I'm going through mentally, if I can make it through, this season, it's going to be a tough season for me. I got to relive it now. Not only did I go through what I went through, now I got to relive it again. And not only do I not have to relive it, I have to have everybody's input on how I relived it. So I'm really nervous on how things are going to go the next couple months. But I just got to do what's right for me, and just keep kicking away. If I fall off the wagon, I just got to keep getting back on. Not that I have, but I just got to keep trucking, man. Because like I said, it's a tough life, man. I can understand that. Do you ever want to get back on reality TV? That being said, would you ever do it again?
There's been a couple instances that almost transpired. One being last year, Bachelor almost became a thing, being the lead, but went a different direction. And then, there was another opportunity with a Netflix show that I just wasn't for me, and I just couldn't do. And there was a Bravo. There's also a Bravo network show that potentially happened. So we'll see what happens there. So I would say it's not done yet. I'm just picking and choosing what's actually appropriate for me, considering everything I have going on. I'm all over the world, man, traveling everywhere. So sometimes timelines don't necessarily link up, and sometimes it's just not worth it to go and do,
Yeah. I got a couple random fire questions before we get out. Who's your celebrity crush?
Ooh, Kate Beckinsale, probably.
Really?
Yeah.
Kate Beckinsale. She's classy, beautiful. Yeah. Very nice. So what was I going to ask you? I was just reading real quick too. We both had a similar situation with a female saying they were pregnant and they weren't. You had that issue too, right?
Yeah, dude. That was
I can't believe somebody could do that to us. I'm saying us because we both had this happen. I had this happen early on in my Vanderpump years. I had a girl in Vegas claim that she was pregnant. You know how I found out? Her roommate called me and said, just want to let you know, I couldn't stand her doing this to somebody. I want to let you know she's not pregnant. She's just looking for a paycheck. And my jaw went to the floor. I was just like, do I get a lawyer? How do I handle this? I was like, how could somebody do that to somebody? How did it happen for you?
Oh God, man. Okay. Prime example. You know how I say I don't date much. I don't go out much. This was 2 years ago. And I was, off an engagement for about a year at this point, off my failed engagement. And I was really nervous about just getting back out there in Toronto and just being a normal guy again and going on dates. But I was hesitant because of all this extracurricular shit and the intentions not being pure and not knowing how to manage it. And so my best girlfriend's like, dude, you're overthinking. Just go out there and start being a normal person the way you were before. It's not that big of a deal. Well, what do you know? The first time I do, I ended up sleeping with somebody and didn't know them. And I should have taken some red flags into consideration. And she ran with that. And professionally done, dude. And I was wrapped up for about 2 months with a fake pregnancy, fake abortion situation where I was so down in the dumps. I couldn't tell anyone. I couldn't tell, my publicist and my agent. I couldn't tell my mom. I didn't know what to do. I felt trapped. And I then had to do everything that I could, talk to obstetricians and, pregnancy specialists, to comparing paperwork that she faked, all these crazy, dude.
Wow.
I'm talking like to the
wow.
of taking fake abortion pills in front of me and acting and rolling around on the ground. So I would like bring her to her room and tuck her in and stuff, all fake. So this happened. What's crazy is that I dealt with this for 2 months. I was broken, man. Like I thought I was having,
I can imagine.
And the struggle with this was not necessarily that she was pregnant, which, obviously was not ideal, but the fact that I realized that she was, at this point, I thought, faking the abortion to try and have the kid, and I was with someone that was going to be ultimately sick as my partner, carrying responsible of a kid that we're going to have, and I was broken, and so it took a lot of time, and my best friends came to my aid to really try and break down all these scenarios that she built up to put this amazing case together that convinced me that it was happening and it was true. And the day that I found out that it was a relief, and that I wasn't going to be wrapped up in that, dude, I didn't have sex for a year. You think 4 months was a long time?
I you know what? That would make me not have sex for a very long time. I think that would be the one thing that would really. I don't know how I would sleep, or it'd make me sick to my. I mean, how is this legal? Did you try to take action, any kind of lawsuit or anything, or you just washed your hands of it?
I didn't. I basically I let her know, though, if you were, to try and come out and say that, you get a miscarriage, whatever it was, I will come out with all the evidence that I have. And, you just be done with this. Don't ever do it to somebody again. I didn't know how to handle it. Again, I wasn't, I've never had to deal with this before. And I was like, just wanted to be done. I saw her finally after I blocked her 6 months later, drinking a bottle from a liquor bottle. And I was like, hey, for sure, nail in the coffin. I know that you've been lying this whole time, but, I let it go. But, what I've noticed, this happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's wild. That's why I say your sex is.
Well, look, it happened to both of us. I mean, do you think you can close your eyes and throw a rock and hit somebody that this happened to, especially a male that's on TV? I mean, I'm not trying to, say male and female, but I think it happens to a lot of men. I mean, like I said, it happened to both of us. It's a scary thing that women would do something like that. That's really, really scary. I have a question from a fan. They want to know, will Blake Moynes ever get married? Ever?
Dude, as much as you're against marriage, I think, listen, I've seen some success. My family's been broken and doesn't give a great example. I think that, yes, one day I hope to be. I really do.
Do you want kids? I hate these questions. I'm sorry. People ask them. There's nothing worse than saying, all right, is this your girlfriend? Are you going to get married? Are you going to have a kid? Are you going to have another kid?
No, I think one of the most beautiful things in life is having children. All my best friends have this. It's the best decision. You could probably attest to that.
Yeah.
And so I have an incredible life right now. I get to travel the world and do all these amazing things, but the best is yet to come. And I think that comes with at least having a child and hopefully marriage.
That's awesome, man. Also, I just read, and I didn't mention this earlier, Katie Thurston recently came out that she has breast cancer, which is fucking A. I don't care who you are. Cancer is just, it's so really, really sad. Have you talked to her about it or reached out to her about it? That's so terrible. I don't know. I know she doesn't know me, but please let her know that, everybody's in her thoughts and prayers. It's fucking breast cancer. God, it's just, this cancer shit is just, it's got to stop. I think like the last 6 months, I have maybe a little bit over a handful of people that have cancer. It's just awful. How is she doing with that?
So I've been anything that she's been talking about, I've been following along with her. She did a podcast recently. I'm always just listening in to hear, I'm not going to be on the phone with her, obviously, as my ex, but I did reach out to her and left her a long video message, kind of, giving her all the support. For one, I will say, it's a scary, scary thing, but I have got to know her. She's a fiery girl. Yeah. I'm very optimistic in how she handled this. I see it as a small hurdle for her. and she's going about it a very cool way with doing it publicly and showing, so that, because everyone's going through it, man. It's an epidemic.
Everybody. If you're not going through it, you know somebody that does. That's just the way the world is. I would love to see if we can maybe do something with her, maybe help raise some money or a foundation or whatever. That'd be awesome. I'll have to look into that because I, especially a fellow, reality star person, we'd like to help out as much as we can. My last question for you, and then we'll leave, and then you can tell me some stuff that you want to promote. If you could do any reality show, what would you do? Anyone that you could create, what would you want to do? If you could do any show that you would want to do, what would that be? That's the best way to put it.
If I could do any show. Ooh.
If you had a blank piece of paper and say, this is what I want to do, what would it be?
I've never put a ton of thought into this, but what I would say is, dude, that's so tough.
I know.
Thinking about
I'm sorry. It was the last question of the day.
Dude, I would say, oh, fuck. I would love to see, I'd love to be in a position where, listen, if The Bachelor ever happened, they like couple stone streets and helicopters and all that kind of stuff. But my life is pretty aligned with the parallels of traveling around the world. But let's put some girls into some situations with rhinos and in the Amazon and dealing with the insects and see if they can live up to life, because that's the best way I'm going to be able to see who can be my partner and actually live the life that I'm kind of living.
That's a really good idea. Like, they take The Bachelor, they take everything that The Bachelor likes, okay, or is involved in or works with, and do the whole season doing things that The Bachelor likes. That would be that's actually a good idea, because you want to be engrossed in what he does and seeing if you like. That's the only way you're going to find out. That's a great idea. Put him in Africa with you.
My life is that. So like, that's, we talk about going to fantasy world and then coming back to real life. Well, the real life is what can be shot. And then
right.
The real life is very much real life. This is what I kind of do. So
right, because you can only explain it. You can be like, when you're at dinner, what do you like to do? You can only explain it so far. You can only say, well, this is what I like to do. Put them in the actual situation. Take them on one of these trips. Make them sleep in tents. Make them give vaccinations to animals. Let them see if they can actually, be a part of that, because that's actually a really, really good idea. It's actually taking The Bachelor to another step where people, I think, would really, really like that, and then maybe do some things of her life. Once you get to the final two girls, yes, maybe you spend a couple days doing exactly what she likes and nothing more. That would really, That's actually a really, really good idea, man. That's a really, really good idea. Well, listen, I took up a lot of your time. I know you got a lot going on right now. Is there anything you want to promote?
Oh, man. I mean, we have so much going on right now. We've already started the rebrand with the SOSA. That's a common loon. We have expeditions going all over the place. All of our projects support wildlife and endangered species. You can come on projects, be hands-on with wildlife. So yeah, follow the SOSA. Get on one of our trips, and it'll change your life and change animals' life at the same time.
I definitely want to get on your trips. I know we've been talking about it forever. I know we got maybe if we get another season, that'd be awesome if we can come out and maybe do something with you, with like swimming with sharks or helping sea turtles or something like that. I would love nothing more. That would be awesome. Maybe next season we can hopefully do that if we get another season. But I really, really appreciate you, man. Thanks for taking the time out. I know you're busy. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for talking about mental health with me. I think you put a lot in perspective. I think I got a lot out of this. Like I said, it's nice hearing from my peers as opposed to my therapist, because therapists, like I said, are paid to do that. But I really, really took to heart what you said, and I really, really appreciate it. And I hope I can have you back again soon. And we'll talk to you later, man. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. Thanks again so much for tuning in to In the Mind of a Man. We'll see you next week. I'm out.
Stream all the movies and shows you love for free on Pluto TV.
Say what now? Showtime.
That means drama is free, with heart-wrenching stories from Love and Basketball, Power, and Greenleaf.
In this family, we live by the Spirit.
And laughter is free with gut-busting comedies like Key and Peele, The Neighborhood, Everybody Hates Chris, and Boomerang. Watch all the hits, all for free, from all your favorite devices.
Oh my God, I love it!
Feel the free Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.